What's going on, guys? This is DropThisBox, and I hope all of you guys out there are having a fantastic day today. And today I want to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because just like last week, I gave my thoughts on The Amazing Spider-Man, so obviously we're going to be continuing the trend on the channel by covering all of these Spider-Man movies. And when it comes to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there is a lot of things to say about this film, because there were some people that like it, there were some people that didn't really care for it, and I pretty much just want to go over exactly what the overall thought process is when it comes to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so we might as well just dive into that right away. So one thing I can say that stood out to me in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was how much emotion it carried, especially when it came to Peter Parker's relationships. His dynamic with Gwen Stacy was a highlight, and their chemistry felt natural. Their relationship had this push and pull tension because Peter wanted to keep her safe, but they couldn't stay away from each other. It made their scenes feel more real and gave weight to their love story. Then there was Peter's relationship with Aunt May, which was another emotional anchor. She was still grieving Uncle Ben, and you could tell she just wanted to protect Peter from getting hurt. The scene where she talks about how she raised Peter as her own son was really touching. It reminded me of why Aunt May is such an important part of his life, because she's not just a side character, she's his heart. And of course, the most devastating moment in the movie was Gwen Stacy's death. Even if you saw it coming, the way it played out was absolutely heartbreaking. The slow motion, the web reaching out like a hand, and the sheer silence after the impact, it all hit so hard. You could feel Peter's pain, and Andrew Garfield's performance made the moment even more gut-wrenching. It was one of those rare comic book movie moments that truly stuck with me. The film really leaned into the idea of loss and how it shapes Peter. He starts off with so much optimism, but by the end, he's broken. Seeing him struggle to move forward after Gwen's death added some depth to his character. Even though The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had its flaws, it nailed the emotional beats when it needed to. And Electro had the potential to be an amazing villain, but the execution didn't fully land. His origin story was interesting at first because Max was just a lonely guy who just wanted to be noticed, and Jamie Foxx really sold that. The idea of an overlooked person gaining power and turning against the world could have been really compelling. Unfortunately, the movie didn't dive deep enough into his character. Once he became Electro, the story kind of loses sight of him as a person. He goes from being a socially awkward nobody to a full-on supervillain in a way that felt rushed. His motivations were a little over the place, because first he idolizes Spider-Man, then he hates him for no real reason. I get that he felt betrayed, but the way the film handled it made it seem forced. It's like the movie needed a villain and just flipped the switch to make him evil. That being said, his action scenes were really cool. The Times Square scene was a standout with all the electricity effects and the way they played with the lighting. The visual design of Electro was actually pretty unique, and I liked how his powers made him feel like a real threat. The way he moved, zipping through power lines and disappearing into sparks, made him feel different from any other Spider-Man villain we've seen in live action. I just wish there were more time spent fleshing him out as a character. If the film had committed to making Electro the main villain, he could have been a lot more memorable. Instead, he kind of gets pushed aside by other subplots, and his character arc doesn't feel as satisfying as it should have been. And another big problem with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was how much it tried to juggle between Peter and Gwen's relationship, Electro's story, Harry Osborn's transformation into the Green Goblin, and the mystery of Peter's parents. I felt like the movie was trying to do way too much at once. Instead of focusing on one strong narrative, it spread itself too thin. The whole subplot about Peter's parents felt unnecessary. It wasn't that interesting, and it took up time that could have been used to develop the main story. The film tried to make it seem like a big deal, but at the end of the day, it didn't really change anything. Spider-Man is supposed to be about Peter, not some hidden conspiracy about his dad. Then there was Harry Osborn, who really suffered from the movie's overstuffed plot. His friendship with Peter wasn't developed enough for the fallout to feel meaningful. His transformation into the Green Goblin felt rushed, and he barely had time to make an impact before the movie ended. It's a shame because Dane DeHaan is a great actor, and with more time, he could have made Harry a truly great villain. Because the movie tried to balance so many different stories, none of them really got full attention they deserved. If the focus had been on just one or two major conflicts, like Peter versus Electro and his relationship with Gwen, the film would have been a lot stronger. Instead, it felt like it was trying to set up too much for future movies instead of just telling a great story. And even though with the movie's flaws, one thing I will always stand out to me is Andrew Garfield was a fantastic Spider-Man. He really embodied the quippy, fun-loving side of the character in a way that felt authentic. His one-liners, the way he moved, and his interaction with people around New York all made him feel like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. What made Garfield's performance even better was how much heart he brought to Peter Parker. You could feel his pain, his struggles, and his determination. He wasn't just playing a hero, he was playing a guy trying to figure out his life while carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. The way he portrayed grief after Gwen's death was especially powerful. The chemistry between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone was another highlight. Their relationship felt natural, and you could tell they had real chemistry, which made their scenes even more engaging. It was rare to see a superhero movie where the romance felt this genuine. If nothing else, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 gave us one of the best Spider-Man relationships that we've seen on screen. It's a shame that Garfield never got a third movie because he clearly loved the role and had so much potential, and seeing him return in Spider-Man No Way Home was such a treat, and it made me appreciate his version of the character even more. No matter what people think about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, just don't denying that Andrew Garfield truly gave it his all. So it was nice to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 within this video, because obviously a lot of people have mixed thoughts on this film. So I really wanted to break it down and explain my overall feeling when it came to the movie itself. So if you guys have anything that you want to say about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when it comes to your own relationship with the movie, if you guys have anything that you want to share with me, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below and we can talk about it. And if you guys enjoy this video on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Be sure to follow me on my X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All the links to those are located in the description below. Be sure to click on that bell below for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I drop a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all the guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.